I will go ahead and call the meeting to order and ask for a roll call, please.
Here.
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 Here. Here. Here.
Here. Here. More is better. More is better.
Okay.
All right, we have minutes from the regular meeting, same sign. All right, welcome. We have a little bit of a full house. We have in our new ESC, no, okay, in the ESC instead of the library. We won't go that far. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for those of you that are watching home channel. Appreciate your attendance tonight. That we'll move on to the agenda. Any corrections, or I'll take the adoption.
I move for approval of the agenda as printed.
I'll second it.
All right, motion and a second then to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right, with that, we'll move on to the first report by administration, 9.1, high school girls basketball team.
Good evening, everyone. So
Good evening.
Just want to introduce some of our class of 23 seniors going to be here this year. Amy Storhoff, Kylie Whitney, Bella Stricker, Emily Dudek, and Ellen Poles. So we came here tonight to ask for approval for a trip to Nashville, Tennessee over Christmas. Our 2018-19 team took a trip similar to this to Naples, Florida to do that. So we have already gotten approval from WIA to do such a trip. Biggest reasons why you try to do these kind of trips is it really gets our program and our now as far as doing. It's a real cool opportunity for this group of seniors who's been awesome. All kids that have played in our program and part of our program for many, many years in Beaver Dam and have really done things the right way through all their careers. And as a coach to the program of our girls program, if we didn't have kids that we thought could handle this type of trip, we certainly would not be doing this type of thing. But they are, the best of the best in everything that they possibly do. So, that's a lot of information. If you have questions, we'll certainly like to hear some or have any questions that people might have about anything.
Tim, I just have a question. How many girls are you planning on taking, and what about other chaperones?
It'll be 20 to 25. All of our coaching staff will go. Coach Hallman, which you're hoping to get approval of back at some time. Coach Wilkie, Coach Allen, Coach Storhoff. So our whole coaching staff will go with everybody. I'm sure, which is a big difference between this trip and our Naples trip, it's probably a more drivable trip for a lot of people to be able to make down to Nashville, which is another reason why we kind of chose Nashville as a site. I know the Daily Dodge is already trying to push us on being able to cover the event because they certainly are planning on going down and covering the event like they did a few years back. So the interest for our program, has been amazing over the years, and the support we've had from, I can't say how great everybody's been through the years, but we're looking at, that's kind of what we're looking at, 20 to 25 players and managers and those type of things.
Coach, you say there might be a possible JV game.
Yes.
When will that be determined?
That will be, I'm working with the coach of the whole school right now, and she's setting, we could for sure have one with her team for sure. So I really do like our JV program, and we try to do as many things as a program as we can. And usually we've kind of had those two levels, JV and varsity, and we've got pretty good support from that group of parents. So it's certainly something I would like us to do as a program and be able to do that. So at this point, that's kind of where we're at. If we could find us another game along the way, I think we would do that as well. That is not a definite right now.
Okay.
But that's definitely something we want.
You're planning on taking the JV and the varsity team?
We'd like to, yeah. They're good
Excellent.
kids.
Yeah, right on.
Appreciate the support of them.
You got it.
How many teams, Coach?
That's kind of up in the air a little bit. So right now it's a classic format. WI had a lot of paperwork, so Miss Gehring was kind of getting through a lot of this that time. But right now she had kind of said the person who's running it, which is named Carrie O'Neill. It's about 12 teams. And when we went to Naples, it was more of a tournament where you got to this thing. This would just be a set format. You're playing this team, and this team, which probably the schedule of who we'd be playing would be coming out in the next month.
Other questions? All right, if not, we'll look to have a motion for approval so we can send these ladies down to Nashville.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the girls' basketball trip down to Tennessee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those not, same sign. All right.
Do us proud.
Yeah.
You got got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have fun.
We will, thank you.
All right. Have a good night. Thank you very much.
You can
Specifically our cash flow borrowing for this year. So due to the timing of revenues and expenditures, many school districts use short-term borrowing to meet their cash flow needs. So this is authorized by state statute, recognizing that when we get aid from the state and when we are able to actually collect the tax levy, does not necessarily line up with when our normal expenditures are every month. There are different types of short-term debt that districts can use, but we have used a local line of credit to meet our cash flow needs. So how that works every year is we obtain proposals from local banks, and then we select the proposal that's in the best interest of the district, usually because it has the best interest. And then districts draw on the line of credit during the fiscal year as we need it. So historically, from the 18-19 school year, how much we had drawn at one time. So our highest cash flow needs tend to come starting in November, and then early December is when we get our first state aid payment. So early December, and then we're usually able to pay it off, and then typically we have to draw on it again in January. And then we usually don't need it again because we get our tax levy payment in January. And so we've had to use it very sparingly, but when we do need to use it, these are historically the amounts we've had to use. Last year we went to a $4 million line of credit. And then during the year, the most that we used at one time was $3.8 million. So for this coming school year, I'm recommending that we return to a $5 million line of credit. So given that for this current year, we have a $0 increase in the revenue limit, and as we've talked about with our budget, we know that our expenses are higher. So this will provide us with the flexibility to ensure we can meet our obligations, specifically payroll. So that's something we want to be able to make sure that we can do every pay period. And so just having that additional flexibility would be very helpful. Also, we know, as we saw from the preliminary budget, we're going to be relying on some of our ESSER funding in order to close our budget gap. So this would just be helpful. It doesn't cost us anything additional. We only pay interest on what we actually use. So having the additional line of credit, there's no penalty on that for us. Anyway, we sent a letter to the 3 local banks seeking proposals on our line of credit, as we do every year. And we received 2 responses, one from Horicon Bank and one from National Exchange Bank and Trust. So last year's line of credit was with National Exchange, and the interest was 1.95% fixed. And then also there was no origination or application fees. We actually haven't had any origination or application fees